Welcome back, my beauty queens. What you're seeing under my eyes is the Jouer Luminize eye patches. This is for dark circles. I took off my Luminize Jouer strips and I'm ready to dive right into makeup. I opted to use my Say Glowy Super Gel as a primer that is gonna deliver radiance. When you're going to introduce a primer into your routine, you need to have a reason because it's gonna drive a certain texture, finish, performance. So I'm using the Say Glowy Super Gel as a radiance booster. I'm about to do a wear test. This is a brand new foundation that just launched at a $36 price point by Kylie Cosmetics. Kylie Cosmetics is really trying to make a comeback here with this. We have our classic needle nose, that's what this is called, pump. Power Plush Longwear Foundation. This is meant to be a natural finish. How thick is it? If this was really, really thick, it wouldn't move. So I'm laying this down. This is the shade 4N. In general, would I prefer this to be a little bit more cool? Yes. This is a neutral that I've chosen. I didn't get a cool tone that's dark enough right now for my skin sent to me. In a perfect world, right, we'd be looking at more of a cool tone, but this is what it is and it's gonna work for our purposes today. This is actually the Kylie Cosmetics brush that comes with the foundation. I really love the way that this is looking with the Say Glowy Super Gel underneath. Now I've laid this down on one side. It's very, very lightweight, this foundation, in that it doesn't feel like I have a ton of product on my face right now. It looks gel-like. It feels gel-like. There is a cushion to it. Some folks are gonna wanna call this foundation creamy. I wanna invite you to think about this type of a texture as a gel more so than a cream, because that's really what it's reading. That's the novelty of this formulation. Its gel nature is why it's feeling so thin on the skin, but it's also why we're seeing the type of texture where it doesn't look overdone. But I am getting 1000% medium coverage. This is the second time I'm using this foundation, but it's the first time I'm using it with Say Glowy Super Gel. We're going to an event. This is an all-day thing here today. So I'm gonna be testing the wear. Not just, hey, how long is this staying on? How does it feel also? Do I wanna rip my skin off in 3 hours because it's just too much product? Questions for Kylie Cosmetics Foundation, and the answers are coming soon. We're ready now to dive into neutralizing our under eye area. This is the new Huda Beauty Color Corrector Peach. We have our corrector, a setting loose powder, and her now brand new Easy Bacon Snatch press version of her famous loose, all in peach. I'm going with the peach tone because I have a new NARS Afterglow eyeshadow palette here. It's called Afterglow Irresistible. That is this champagne-y, peach, almost copper buffet that we are gonna play with here. I had a lot of product come through on the doe foot when I released in the reservoir. The main goal of the peach is to take these natural purple undertones I have under my eye and to soften them. I'm using the Anissa Beauty concealer brush to blend in. And what you will notice is I will see prominent peach. The peach is neutralizing whatever's happening in terms of the darkness that are natural because of my genetic predisposition, these dark circles. I'm gonna add neutralizer, AKA concealer, on top to color match the rest of our complexion. I'm gonna grab House Labs because I have a event. It is gonna be a long day in makeup. If you are someone that has been struggling and you wanna put the additional effort in and you wanna try something drastically different, go ahead and treat yourself and go on a little color correcting adventure. Huda also did this in pink. If you're more cool tone and fair skin, you can absolutely go into the pink family. The choice really is yours. I could go either way, peach or pink. I'll definitely be trying the pink. Now that we went ahead and laid down this liquid, I'm gonna dip into the powder. This puff just picked up a lot of product because there was a lot of product hanging out in this net. Huda's powders come with this bouncy little net. So because of all this excess product, you have a couple things that you could do. You could use your wrist and just pat some product out to make sure you're uniformly layering the powder on. I find myself typically gravitating towards that because you don't want to nail this under eye region with too much excess powder. I tapped off the excess powder. I'm pressing the powder in. I totally took down all that shine, but naturally as the day progresses and as the evening progresses, I will see more sheen pop through. If I had more powder than this on the under eye area, I would see even more lines on my eye. Less is definitely more with powder. Something else to point out, do not get rid of your cap. Look at all this excess that's flying. You want to keep your cap there because it's going to keep your trampoline from releasing all that excess powder. We're going to go into the Easy Bake This has oil built into it. This is thinner in terms of a formulation. The texture is more sheeny, sheerer. This is a sheerer powder. So I'm actually gonna put off a little bit of that excess, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lay this more sheer powder right here. And we're gonna hit a little bit of my eyelid too, why not? This just added an additional layer of brightness. I put this on my middle finger, I laid it down right here. I wanna concentrate more brightness here because this is where the shadow is being casted, and that shadow that's being casted is also contributing to darkness in the under eye area. We did all of this work to lock in the liquid that we laid down. We are gonna set this with powder. The powder I'm gonna choose to use is gonna be different than what I used for my under eyes. The NARS Soft Matte Advanced Perfecting Powder. I use this all the time because it has amazing oil absorbing properties. So if you're oily, but you still like radiance, you want to absorb the oil and stay radiant, here's a great example. I haven't found anything in the drugstore that really mimics and embodies how soft I look when I use this and how smooth I look when I use this. The closest thing I found was the Maybelline Superstay, but I do find that more oil tends to peek through with that because there's specific skincare in here too that's helping absorb oil, not just powder that's doing it. The foundation is looking beautiful. I have now set the liquid, so the face isn't moving. Now that we've neutralized the whole stage, I'm setting the stage for self-expression. We're ready to go into bronzing. We're ready to add that color story. Shade 120 in the new Milani Cream Bronzer. The most powerful thing you can do in terms of your makeup application for staying power is always layering. Kind of why I think Patrick Ta is so genius with the way that he always gives you a cream and a powder, because it's truly like a makeup artist experience in every palette. If I wanted something more soft, still pearly and radiant, but I like that glowy alive radiance, I would grab a powder. Now that I laid down my cream, I'm gonna grab the Kiko Milano Baked Bronzer. This I find is closest to the experience you would get with an Hourglass. What the Kiko is gonna do for me is gonna warm up that cream a little bit, and it's gonna give me a little bit more of a pearl effect. My skin is done, I'm ready for eye makeup. I'm gonna do my brows off camera and come back and dive right into this eye look. Okay, my eyebrows have been done. My least favorite part of doing makeup is eyebrows, by the way. The best eye primer I have ever used is the Intensifies by Pat McGrath. It doesn't dry out the surface of the eyelid in a way that all these other primers that I've ever used do. Because usually when you lay those other primers down, what you start to realize is that those other primers interfere with how your eyeshadow looks, and that upsets me. We're running late to the event now, so Christina's just gonna come sit next to me and hang out.
You could let us know if you want this on the regular.
We're going into the lightest shade here of this palette, and we're gonna hit my brow bone. Ooh, yes. I like how much pigment is releasing on these a lot. It's a red cherry brown. It's the Mario loose domed brush. This larger dome brush is great for blending. The reason I did this golden color first is because I wanted my crease color to blend right into that golden warmth naturally. And we're adding dimension by adding layers. It's really nice to do this triangle and to feed off of the natural opening of the eye area and to bring the color up. I like this little copper smoke moment. I haven't done something like this in eons. There are these 3 little eyeshadows here on this row that I wanna add now that have a little bit more shimmer. I wanna go back to my denser brush to do the lay down of more of that shimmer. Now, if I wanna take this depth and dimension to the final level that I can, I'll use the darkest color, the chocolate brown in this palette. I'm gonna switch to more of what we call a small dome brush, like this, or a bullet brush, because I have way more control with what I can do with the bullet and depositing some color right here. Really, really like the way that these eyeshadows worked inside this NARS palette. I'm happy. Let's try the one size Fantasize mascara.
Have you tried this before?
Never.
Your lashes look awesome with this.
This is a beautiful mascara. This is a mascara I will keep on the vanity. We're ready for the event. Now I'm gonna do Christina's makeup.
Kind of look. There you go.
This is about the new Kylie Jenner Power Plush Foundation. The only reason I'm this spry is because I promised you all a wear test.
Yes, you did.
Here she is. This is 8 hours of wear. There were Ubers, there was events, there was dinner, there was
New York City cold.
There was New York City cold, all the things. While we're here, let's talk about what I did underneath the prep of the Kylie. I used the Violette France Boom Boom Milk I used the new Ilia Face Milk. And I used the Say Glowy Super Gel in the bronze shade. The Say was part of my desire to look more radiant in the Kylie because I wasn't a huge fan of how matte the finish was. What's really important to understand about a matte finish, or even something that's in the natural matte arena, is I don't look overly greasy right now. I also use the NARS Advanced Matte Soft Perfecting Powder all over my face to hold my radiance level in place without looking greasy. Maintaining glow, not grease. Big difference. How did the Kylie wear? I have all of the usual suspects. When you're a product developer, you evaluate foundation by emoting. Christina, what's an emote?
Be sad. Be angry. Be enthusiastic.
So these faces are literally the faces that I would have been making all night. So you want to look and assess what happened to the product. This is where the lines are that I have because I don't do Botox. This is where the lines are that I have because I don't get filler. These are natural. And this foundation for an 8-hour plus wear looks fabulous. Everything still looks fresh. For me, I would reach for and wear the Kylie Jenner foundation again based on how this performed for me tonight, but I would absolutely manipulate it with Radiance products personally to get it to the level of glow I want. Let's talk about concealer. This was a very, very overzealous situation because I had to evaluate the new Peach Trifecta by Huda Beauty, which is on my under eyes currently. These lines will be less accentuated with powder on them if the powder's placed properly than they would be if there was no powder there and they were left kind of wet. You don't want to leave your products wet. What I did on top of the Peach Corrector was go in with my longest wearing concealer on me, my House Labs, and then I layered the new Fenty Hydrating to get more of a brightened radiance under my eye. Ironically though, the finish of the Fenty and the magic of the Fenty didn't get to come through as much as I would want it to because I did use both the loose powder by Huda and Peach and the Easy Bake. The whole premise of today was doing everything for the eye area. And the finished look of the eye area comes to us after an 8-hour wear where I'm really impressed with how intact it looks. I do think for me personally on an everyday use, I would skip the loose powder to get more of that lifelike radiance and less of the powder finish. That's just me. You need to test this on your own skin and see how it's gonna work for you.